Jeff says, can you explain the process behind how you acquire blogs for the Semantic Mastery, or excuse me, Semantic Links blog network? Do you create the blogs from scratch or buy existing blogs? Well, we create the blogs from scratch, but we're buying existing domains. Well, expired domains. Okay. So we have a whole training program in the mastermind specifically for it's literally the SOPs that I developed for my team on how to build the blogs and find a domain, go domain hunting. And that I used to love that process, domain hunting. I don't do that anymore because it's fully done by my team now. But there was a period of a time for probably at least a year, and maybe even a year and a half, where that's what I would do at night when I was like relaxing and watching TV or whatever. At night, I'd have my laptop, in my lap, and I would hunt domains. And I actually really enjoyed hunting for domains. I guess you can get burned out on that too, though, because I did it so long. Finally, I got some people trained in my team, and now I have I've got a full team that's all they do is hunt down domains. I swear to God, I got like a team of 5. It might even be 6 people. It's 5 or 6 people, and that's their entire job. 40 hours a week is literally hunting domains. So there's a whole process that we go through. I can't share that here. That wouldn't be fair to the mastermind members. But essentially what we do is we first, I use a website crawler called PBN Lab. Just so you guys know, you can go to pbnlab.com. And I've got 3 subscriptions to this because I try to separate what domains we are crawling by top-level topic categories. And we have, so PBN Lab is what I use. We've got 3 of these. If you take a look at the monthly plans, what I've got is the this one, the EXA plan, because of how much crawling we do and the demand for domains that we have, because I run a link building business. So we've got 3 of these that run. One of these are always running to try to that are scraping business related sites. So as far as topical trust flow categories go, and that's the metric that we use to determine which domains that are expired that are available for registration are potentially good domains for us to use for link building purposes, is we scrape sites based upon their top level topical categories. So I have one subscription that's entirely dedicated to business. I got another subscription that's entirely dedicated to health, and another one that's entirely dedicated to legal. Okay. And so, because those are the 3 biggest market sectors that we build links for: business, which is very broad, health, which is also broad, but not as broad as business, and then legal, because we have an enormous amount of attorney clients. And so because of that, we try to separate the crawling so that when we are pulling in results, that then we go analyze the expired domains that this service or this app has found. Then we use the topical trust flow filters, and we can go in and set specific topical trust flow filters about the to only pull in potential domains that have the appropriate topical trust flow. In other words, the appropriate backlink profile that we need for that specific, for whatever demand it is or need that we have for the domain. So in other words, let me give you guys another example real quick. If we look at ttf.semanticlinks.io, any of you guys can go to this. This is just a page that I put up specifically for my team, and I also use this during audits and things like that, which shows the complete list of topical trust flow categories. So what I'm saying is, for example, you can see all the subcategories for the business category right here. Okay, the 3 big ones are business, society, because society is where law is, so society/law, and then we also have down here. I think I just passed it, actually. No, it's further down. Is the health, right here, health categories. And that's because we also have a lot of med spas and dentists and podiatrists and orthopedists and all that other kind of stuff. So we try to separate our PBN Lab subscriptions to pull in results from business-related sites, legal sites, and health-related sites. And then when we go in, we get a whole list of domains that it has scraped, that it's found, that are broken and are available for registration. And then I can go in and set a filter and say, okay, I only want to find, domains that their primary topical trust flow category of the backlink profile that is pointing to that domain is in business, construction, and maintenance, for example, right? Or in the tree service industry, I would have, business, agriculture, and forestry, or home/gardening, or, anything like that. And so the point that I'm trying to make is that's how we do it, is we first identify potential expired domains that have the backlink profiles that are relevant in the topical categories for what we need them to be. Then once we've got that list of potential domains, then we go spam check each of those domains. And when I say spam check, we look at the backlink profile. We look at the anchor text cloud, which is really the first step that we do. Let me give you a quick example. If I had time, I would log into PBN Lab and show you guys the dashboard and everything else. But my databases are so full because I've been crawling for 3 years. We've scraped over 30 million domains in the last 3 years, and that's not a joke. So it takes forever for this to load because the database has got so much data in it. So I can't do that. But anyway, what I was going to say was in Majestic, let me just pull this open. I should have Majestic open still. Yeah, we'll just use this as an example, Tree Care HQ. Okay. So in Majestic, what we use to determine if the domain is clean, if it's proper, if it's healthy, if we can use it for link building. So once we've identified that the potential expired domain has the primary topical trust flow category relevant to what we need, then we've got now a list of potential domains. So then we go into Majestic, and the first thing we'll do is put the root domain in, and then we're going to go to the anchor text cloud. What I do here is I can very quickly look based upon the words that are bigger. What the biggest words are the ones that are used as anchor text the most. The smaller the words, the less they were used. So I could very quickly look at this visually. I can see if the anchor texts that are pointing to this domain are relevant or not. I don't care if there's some non-relevance, that's fine. But what I want to see is the big words, are they relevant? And as long as the big words that are in this anchor text cloud are relevant to that topical category that we need it to be, then that's fine. Well, it passed the first test. But then the next test is to then go literally check archive.org. Archive.org, the Wayback machine, right? And we do that in CloudBoss, because CloudBoss has an archive Wayback machine integration that's built into CloudBoss, which is one of our hosting apps that we use for building these sites. Anyways, it has a service in there that actually pulls in all of the Wayback machine archives in one fell swoop. So it makes it a lot faster and more efficient to click through the different archives. We always start with the most recent snapshots and look at what the site was. And a lot of the times expired domains will have snapshots where it's broken, or it's the parking page, the domain parking page, and things like that. So we oftentimes have to click through several different snapshots, always starting with the most recent and working our way back, and try to identify the last time the site was live and on the web, it was published. What was the topic of the site? Because a lot of times you can pull up a domain like this and see that the backlink profile is relevant. It's got proper topical categories. The anchor texts are relevant. But then you go look at the Wayback machine, and somebody had purchased the domain and spammed it for an affiliate site or something else. And so even though the backlink profile is still relevant and clean, I don't want to buy a domain and then rebuild the domain, put content on it and everything else, when the last time that Google has any history of that domain, it was used as a spam site. So for example, if I looked at the anchor text cloud and I saw like buy Nike shoes real big in this anchor text cloud, then I would say, okay, this has been spammed. I'm not going to buy it. But all these are relevant to this domain. And we already saw that the topical categories were relevant. So the next thing would be then to go take a look at that in the Wayback machine and look at the most recent snapshot and work your way back and try to find a snapshot that shows what the site was about the last time it was published and indexed. And as long as that is in the same topical category or something closely related, then it's fine. Then that means that's an acceptable domain to purchase and use for a link building or link source. Okay. If the last time the site was published online, it was something completely unrelated to what the backlink profile shows, then we eliminate that from the list, because that is no longer a candidate to be used as a link source. Okay. Because we're trying not to use domains that have been spammed by some sort, because that kind of resets the history, right? Google's been clear about this, guys. if you buy a domain that has, a history of being in a particular topical category, and the metrics and everything support that, and you repurpose that domain in the same topical category, that's acceptable. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's when you buy a domain based upon metrics, and then you change the topical categories entirely, and that's still a lot of SEOs do that, because they look at DA and DR. I don't give a shit about those metrics. I couldn't care less about either of those metrics. I honest to God mean that. What I care about is relevance. And so as long as the domains are relevant, and the last time it was published on the web, it was in the same category or something related, closely related, then I will use it. But it's when you change the topical categories of the domain, because that renders the backlinks irrelevant. Do you get that? You understand, if Google is assigning value to links based upon relevance, and you buy a domain because it has good third-party metrics in whatever relevant category those links were, but then you change the topical relevance of the domain, you've just made those backlinks irrelevant, meaning they're now useless. So there's no point in doing that. So that is precisely the process that we go through, again, is identifying based upon what the again, as I mentioned here, we do where is it? It's right here. We do a competitive link analysis or a full SEO audit. And by the way, a full SEO audit includes the competitive link analysis. That's the fourth component of the full SEO audit. So we do this at the start of every campaign anyway. And then, and for link building clients, competitive link analysis is included in all subscription campaigns, and we refresh and refresh those reports. Basically, we redo the competitive link analysis reports every month for every client, for every single keyword that we are analyzing for them, because that's how we make decisions as to what the campaign needs for the next month. And so with my link building clients, because we have the competitive link analysis that is constantly updated every month, we always know exactly which topical categories we need links from. So we can go out and start hunting down domains specifically needed for that campaign. And that applies to links with or domains with geographic relevance as well. We use the exact same process for finding topical domains to find domains with geographic relevance. And both of those training courses, by the way, are in the mastermind right here. We have the Semantic Links, the CTRify, and we have local PBN command. Those are the two training courses that we have specifically that go through. I mean, those are SOPs. Well, these are training courses, not SOPs, but they're training courses that show the entire process. I'm 100% transparent about how I build links, guys, in our mastermind. And I even provide all the training so that you guys can duplicate the exact same process that I use. Okay. So that was an overview. Hopefully that makes sense. But basically, when we buy the domain, we then repopulate it with content in the same topical category. We're not rebuilding the domain with the old content. I did that for a period of time when I first started the white label link building business. And it turned out to actually be harder to rebuild the sites using the old content. It's more efficient to build them new. And so what I found was, after testing, that as long as we are rebuilding the domains or publishing a new site onto the domain that is in the same topical category as it was previously, then the backlinks remain valid. And therefore, that's how we're able to get really good results from those backlinks, if that makes sense.